It's been a second. So I didn't want to just like stop doing these because they're really helpful to me, but I have skipped a couple of months. And that's just because the past couple of months have been insanity, and so it's really just been trying to stay afloat. So now that everything's kind of evened out and leveled and honestly kind of crashed a little bit, I figured it'd be a good time to kind of go ahead and start making this again. I feel like right now in my life I really need this, and I really need to kind of reprioritize and refocus. So I think especially midway through the year, this is a great time to do it. Starting off with June, I didn't really make any priorities for June because I didn't do any planning. But to get on to kind of like the big moments of June, my sister Megan got married, and it was a gorgeous wedding. It was a beautiful time. I think she's been engaged for about a year, or she was engaged for about a year and a half. And so it was kind of like a long time coming, and it was beautiful. It was just magical. So happy for them. They are literally perfect, so very excited. I got to celebrate Father's Day through FaceTime. Take a deep breath. You know, with all the stuff that happened last year with him getting really sick, I think it really made me appreciate all of the times that I did get to spend with him and that I do get to spend with him, because if you, like October of last year when he was in the hospital and honestly like dying, I really thought this was going to be like my first Father's Day without him. Getting to actually experience another Father's Day with him, it just made it so much more special. You start to appreciate life a little bit more, and you start to appreciate moments with them a little bit more. I got a job at Mocha Mug, so that is a local drive-through coffee shop here in Jackson, or really in Madison, Brandon area. But I've actually wanted to be a barista since I was like 12. Like, I thought it was just the coolest job in the world. In a way, this job is just kind of helping me like pay for groceries and stay afloat while I'm looking for a full-time marketing job. But it's been so cool and rewarding to be able to get a job that I've actually wanted for a really long time. I'm really excited and I love doing it. It's a great shop. It's a great place to work. The people are awesome. The coffee is really good. And then I got to go on a beach trip with 3 of my closest friends, Cameron, Nicole, and Courtney. I actually have a video coming out for that pretty soon, so that's exciting. Stay tuned. But it was really good to kind of be able to get away, go on a beach trip. I think it's so important. I think I did a video when we went to Natchez, and I said the same thing. It's just so important to take some of your closest friends and get away from everything and talk, and you develop these like really strong connections and strong relationships that sometimes don't get nurtured whenever you're in the everyday like busy life. A lot of those were kind of happy. There are some sad ones that I'm not really gonna like dive into right now, but you know, of course, I don't want it to seem like just because I'm only talking about the high points, there weren't low points. They just weren't necessarily ones that I'm comfortable sharing on social media, and that's okay. I just want whoever's watching this, obviously, like, this is not real life. Everything good did not just happen in June. There were some really low points. Working through those and really excited to kind of see where they end up. I am proud of I put my willingness to be vulnerable with people. I'm really starting to learn the value of being vulnerable and the connection that it can form with people that I'm closest with. It's really hard to just like take a deep breath and be vulnerable and say things that scare me in front of people, because it's like it's different whenever I'm just saying it to myself or I'm kind of internalizing it, but once it's external, it's like more real to me. And so being vulnerable with people that are that genuinely want the best for me, and being able to sit down and really talk through that, it was so hard to the point of like scary and anxiety inducing, but it ended up being so worth it in multiple different relationships that I'm in, and it's just created this really strong and really deep kind of like friendship or just deeper relationship with the people that I was able to sit down and say, I need your help, or I'm struggling with this. Describing this word in 3 months, I put hard because it really has been a hard month for me. I turned 22, not that, you know, I guess I did, I guess that's a big moment. But I really thought that life would look different than it does right now, and that's not to say that I hate life. I just really am struggling with the, like, I guess grieving the life I thought I was going to be living in June, and there's nothing wrong with the life I'm living right now. It's just different than what I expected. And that's really hard to come to terms with. it has been a really restful month, I think, in a lot of ways. As much as I would like love to have a full-time job and would love to just like jump into something and kind of get over this post-grad weirdness, I'm so thankful for it because it has really taught me the value of rest. For the past, honestly, like 6 years, because last 2 years of high school and then all of college, I was just like pedal to the metal all the time. And I think it did a number on my body, on my mind, on my anxiety. It's not a great place to be. And so it's been really, really recovering to just like sit down and rest for a little bit. I think the last time this happened was quarantine of last year, and it wasn't really on great terms. And it's so funny I say that, and right now I kind of am thinking it's not really on great terms either necessarily, because like I'm only resting because I don't have a full-time job. And I really want to change that mindset. Rest should not just be something that I do because I don't have anything to do. It's like that should be an intentional thing that I create anyway. It's easier to do right now because I don't have space to fill, I don't have a job to just fill up a bunch of time with. But even when I do have a job or I do have a lot of things to do, it's like I need to make sure I'm spending that intentionally the way that I am right now. And then the last word I said was grace-filled. I think being able to kind of just come to terms with who I am. And being a Christian, I believe that like God extends grace to me, and that's just always been a really uncomfortable thing to sit in the middle of. And when people have grace with me, when people are forgiving, when they not necessarily like shouldn't be, but just when it would be hard to, there's been conversations I've had with people that were really difficult to have, but they came at it with such a grace-filled mindset that it ended up changing the way that I saw myself. And that was so valuable to be a part of, and it's something I want to not only work on with myself, but also extend to other people. A person that made a difference in my life this month, the month of June, my parents, they have been the best parents you can possibly like ask for. With that comes like, how do I pay rent? How do I pay utilities? How do I pay my phone bill, my insurance, and groceries and gas and a lot of stuff. And my dad and my mom have told me, like, obviously they know I'm doing everything I can right now and I'm applying for as many jobs as I can. And so having the knowledge that they have faith in me, that I'm doing everything and they're not just lording over me, being like, well, how many jobs did you apply to today? And are you sure you're trying? Did you follow up? Like, they know I'm doing that because they know me. Them just kind of giving me the space to breathe a little bit makes the job finding process so much easier because I don't have to worry. I still want to get a job and still want to pay my own bills, but I'm not worried about it getting paid because they have already kind of said, like, we'll help you in whatever way we can. I just love them. Somebody else, I've talked about her on here a couple times, but her name's Tova. Tova was honestly so great to me this month. She was one of those people that really changed the way that I saw myself based on the way that she reacted to certain things that we were talking about. She gave me some encouragement and some advice in the time that I needed it the most, but just her willingness to sit there and listen to me, it's life-changing. Just when people will just sit there just to listen to you, that just does something. Something that I learned this month, I talked about it a lot, but vulnerability is just so worth it. So describe a moment that brought you happiness. Honestly, for me, watching my sister get married was just a beautiful thing. For July, goal setting, I really want to be intentional about and really work on. Life is less busy than it used to be, and I wrap a lot of my worth in how busy I am or how much I have to do, and productivity means a lot to me. So while I don't have a job, I need to find some ways to make myself productive, not busy, but productive, and make myself feel like I'm accomplishing things. So for priorities, number one priority obviously is finding a job. So I'm applying to a lot of places. I'm working as hard as I can to make that happen. It's just the job market's really weird. It's so hard to make a good impression with people that never see you or never like really get to have a conversation with you. I'm confident in my skills. I'm confident that I'm doing everything I can right now. And there just needs to be a company that can see that too. So the second priority is premarital counseling for Zach and I. We are doing premarital counseling through our church, but we also are doing Bible studies together. just to make sure that we're starting our foundation of like marriage on a really, really solid place. While I have some time on my hands, I do kind of want to prioritize wedding planning. I know it can get really crazy, especially at the end, and so there's a lot of things I can do now that are going to help me out for later. So making all the decisions that need to be made, coming up with itineraries, planning for my bachelorette trip, big events that are coming up. Today is actually 4th of July, so, and it hasn't really been a big event. Honestly, it's been a very restful day. Oh, goodbye lighting. See you later. It's been a very restful day, which is great, but just kind of, you know, the holiday and everything like that. But the only other really big event for this month that I can see right now is that I am videoing my first wedding on actually next Saturday. So I'm really excited about that, and I love videoing. I love video editing, so I'm excited to do it. I'm a little bit nervous just because I've never done it before, so it's going to be definitely interesting to kind of learn the ins and outs, learn the ups and downs of it, and get familiar with it. But I'm really excited to give them a product. I know I'm going to be proud of whatever I give them, but I'm just excited. My focus or word for this month is self-care. I have been really bad the past month, and I think that's what's kind of contributed to this feeling of like just complacency. It's just I haven't poured into myself. Something that's really big for me is like routines, and this goes into my self-care focus for the month. But I'm somebody that thrives on routines, morning and night, but even just kind of weekly routines and cleaning and things that are, I don't know, routine. And I've been really bad about that since getting in the new space that I'm in, and I need to really buckle down and start doing that. But self-care isn't just, you know, obviously it's not just the routine part of it, but I also need to like feed myself. And I've been really bad about like sitting down and making a grocery list and going to the grocery store and getting it, and that is just a really overwhelming task to me right now for some reason. And so I need to kind of figure out a good game plan going forward with how I'm going to do that. But for the word of my month is going to be self-care. My affirmation for this month is that I am patient and loving. I saw something on TikTok that this person, I don't know who it was, but she was saying, instead of saying, I am patient or I am loving, saying, what if I'm patient? Like, what if I'm loving? And I like that, and I kind of want to start doing that, especially with these affirmations, but they call them affirmations. And asking the question honestly makes me think more about myself. It makes me think more about how am I loving and how am I patient, and what would that look like if I really was, and if I devoted a lot of time and energy into making that happen. And so this month I want to make sure that I'm being patient with people in my life and being loving towards them. So I already kind of talked about my self-care focus, but as far as like this month, I really want to start establishing some morning and night routines and really sticking with them. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you're following along with stuff. I hope that it's helpful. And if it is, like, please let me know. I would love to talk about it. But the worksheets are in the description box below, as always. And I will see y'all in the next video, which I have no idea what it's going to be. So come find out.